The truth is, you are love. The truth is, I am love.
Love is the easy part, and the hard part is when we allow anything but love in.
Coming home.
Well, every night you go to sleep, you are dying. You don't know if you're waking up.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the podcast. As you can see today, we have a very beautiful, lovely guest, Cathy.
Finally.
And a little backstory, before we introduce yourself. Cathy is, I feel like every time we have a podcast episode, I'll bring up something that me and you spoke about in our session. So I'll be like, today I want to talk about authenticity, because Cathy was like, we were talking about it. I feel like people were like, who's Cathy, or who's like your spiritual mentor? So this is Cathy, everybody. So welcome, Cathy.
Round of applause.
Can you add that in? Oh, cool. Okay. So I guess we'll let you introduce yourself first, like who you are, your title, and then I kind of want to get into the backstory about how I was introduced to you, and then we'll go into the deep diving questions.
Okay. First of all, I want to say thank you. Mm-hmm. It's an honor to be here, both of you. I think you're so amazing. Where do I start? I want to keep it simple and quick. I don't want to go into it much. I've been on a journey for a long time. Probably about 33 years. I never had kids, and I wanted to. I never did. So I was on a spiritual journey, and I knew from very young that this was my calling. And I've been doing work. I have been offering services for the last 28 years. It's metamorphosed into a completely different invitation than it started out as. I have many certifications, reflexology. I was going to be a massage therapist. Then I got on a shamanic journey, and a lot of that took me into a deeper place of helping people be able to access the power within them. And I have such passion and purpose with your age group and younger people, because I guess in a sense I suffered myself through life, and I would want to give my wisdom, which comes from experience, but it doesn't always, to help others so they don't have to go through that.
Yeah.
And I have tools. Quite simply, I'm very, very privileged and honored to offer the work I offer. I sometimes wonder, like you guys, I'm sure, how did I get here? How did this happen? I get to be me and help people. What a beautiful offering, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's the answer, but there you go.
Yeah.
No, that's perfect.
So I wanted to touch on something you said, like from a very young age. So you knew from like that, like whenever, how old you were, that you wanted to do this kind of
Well,
work.
we all have a story, right, Franny? We all have a story. And the story that I went through was challenging. And I knew I was different. And I don't mean better, just different. And I knew I saw things. And I felt empathy in a way that a 5 or 6 or 7-year-old would not feel it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was able to help people from a very early age. And I started to actually, I don't want to sound too woo-woo, but I started to actually be able to see things and see things that most people wouldn't see, and be able to, like, we see each other and we touch each other, but it's the in-between places that have all the power.
That's interesting. So can you don't have to if you don't feel comfy, but like when you say see things and those in-betweens, is that energy? Is that you're actually, like, when you look at someone, you see beyond like what they physically look like? You see their aura, their energy, their vibe. And how do you read that?
I feel like over the years it's kind of changed. It's became more tuned in, and I guess through trusting. I think at the initial start when it happened years ago, I was freaked out.
Yeah.
Because I was with a client in my 30s, and I saw a horse in the room and a massive mare in there. And I said to my client, oh my God, there's a massive mare in the room. That's never happened to me. And her phone rang 1 second later, and her mare had her baby.
Oh, wow.
So it was like, okay, I'm getting tinglies actually talking about this, because I didn't know how to manage that energy.
Right. I was going to ask that. Like, how do you, like, you see it, but like, how do you interpret it and like give it back, you know?
Yeah, I trust. I think you need to learn ways of being able to trust that we all have this. It's not, I'm not special. We all have the ability in us. It's whether we work the muscle, right?
Right.
So, I mean, I went to teachers, and then I just, through my own experience, began, once you work the muscle, then more comes.
Mm-hmm.
And you start to trust it.
Mm-hmm.
That takes, I mean, it's a journey though, right? It's not a destination.
Right.
Healer, heal thyself
Mm-hmm.
every day. Like it's a journey. I
Mhm.
don't feel I've arrived, or I learn every day.
Mhm.
So it's something you learn every day, deeper and deeper, and you access deeper parts of yourself, not person, like we talked, that penthouse. It's the self. You actually start to trust this knowing,
Right.
and that the world is not what you think it is.
And I feel like what you just said about like trusting yourself and like that knowing is very hard
Mm.
nowadays too, which is I think like circling back to what you said about how you resonate with helping like, people of our age range, because like a lot of us are always in our heads thinking like with our brains and like trying to be logical about decisions and things like that. So it's hard to learn to like actually trust yourself in your gut, which is something like I struggle with a lot. But I've been kind of, as I'm doing it and learning to do it, I'm seeing like the outcomes of it be things that like I've always wanted to happen, as opposed to when I'm like overthinking things. So like the way that you put that like resonates, I think, with me.
It's interesting because I feel when we get out of our own way and we actually have less effort and more alignment,
Yeah.
and these are just words I'm speaking, but it's actually experiential.
Mm.
These are actually, and I know you guys have had sessions with me, is that I can actually take you in.
Yeah.
So you can experience it. It's not a theory. It's not a concept. Because this is the most, Sam, this is the most limited part of who we are.
Yeah. I
This
know.
bangs
It's-
against the same proverbial wall over and over and over again.
Very true.
It's called insanity.
Yeah.
I was gonna say.
Yeah. And I was going to like touch on that. I remember the first time that I had met Cathy, Vic reached out and was like, oh, this lady, like she wants to do a reading with like a bunch of us. And it was like me and my 3 other friends. And during that time, I think it was 2020. So it was in COVID.
It was. Oh, sorry.
No, continue. What?
No, I was gonna say I remember that time. Yes. Anyways,
It was
sorry.
during COVID. I had just went through, I think, my first breakup. My family was like in like the like ruts of like the divorce or the separation, whatever. So I was kind of like, I don't want to talk to anybody. Like, I don't want people to like read me. And I was kind of skeptical at first. I was like, I don't know this lady, right? And then we get into it, and you literally read me like a book. I remember you literally pointed me out, and you said A to Z, like what I was feeling, what was happening, and I was like, holy shit! Like, she literally took the words out of like my soul and brought it to my face, so I can kind of like look at it, you know what I mean, and like reflect on it. And then since then, obviously we've had our sessions, and I tell Sam, I tell everyone, like, I feel like I've grown because of that, and like my mentality has grown, and I preach the words that you say. So I think this is like the perfect episode to have right now, especially when people are kind of like navigating. And then obviously Sam has had your sessions with you
Sorry,
as well.
I just kept like
What?
having like firing thoughts, but I remember like we also had a couple, like we haven't had some for a while, but it was around the same time that she started talking with you, and I remember distinctly we had one time where I was working in my first like job that I just got, and for those of you who don't know, I went to school for urban planning, and so I got a job in commercial real estate. And I remember telling you that like I was like, I don't know what the fuck, like excuse my language, what the fuck I'm doing.
It's okay,
and,
I'm
like,
good with it.
and I'm just like, I just feel like weird. And like you kept saying that like that I was like hitting a wall. And I remember you saying that you felt like there was like a creative part of me that like wasn't being unleashed in this space, which is weird that now we're here, because now I literally work in a creative field. Like I literally do project management for creative marketing. And we have the podcast, which is a creative outlet. So it's really like
It's
full
weird
circle
how
and weird.
things-
Because even though you were saying that to me, it's not that I didn't believe it. It's just, I was just like, yeah, I guess, but like how and like when? And I just had to go through all of these years of like, in between then and now, I've had to figure some shit out. But like now I'm at a place where, like you said, I'm still growing and like learning. But I look back on that and I'm like, this is what she meant. Like I'm like just going with the flow of things, you know? So anyways, that was a little story time about my experience.
I love
that
it.
involves you.
I
Yeah.
love it. I love it. I love it. I know that there's a part of it, like there's a personal self, right? Like you're Sam, you're Franny, I'm Cathy. And then there's a soul self, which is nameless, which is omnipotent, which is infinite. This is finite. This is delivered when you get a body.
Right.
So you become the person. You're a woman. You're a woman, and I'm a woman. And, you know, and it's limited. Unless it is taken deeper into a master of your own essence or your soul or your spirit, this if this is the master, we're in trouble. And like you guys were just discussing, we get caught. And I call it the penthouse with no windows. And quite frankly, a penthouse needs to have windows because a penthouse has a beautiful view.
Yeah.
So that's something that came up when I was working with somebody. That is the definition of insanity, banging your head against the walls and there's no view. And that's the insanity that we actually, this does to itself unless a heart and soul lines up. And you just mentioned in the flow, we need to learn by banging our head against the wall.
Yeah.
We don't learn easy.
No, 100%.
And that kind of leads me into our first topic because you say a lot of the times, like, there's nowhere to go, nothing to be. You can say the words. I don't want to butcher. What is that phrase?
No, just there's nothing to do. There's nothing to get to anymore.
Yeah.
It's not like, here's the straight line. I'm here and I need to get over there.
Yeah.
It's all now.
So I was going to say, can you touch upon, I guess, what the meaning is of that and like the context of that in this
In life.
In life now. The nowhere to go.
So
nothing
most
to
people
be.
that would come to see me or even people that I meet, I would say are at a point of suffering. And they've hit their limitation of what they know, right? So there's a big pie. I learned this in the Landmark Forum, but there's a big pie and there's a piece of the pie we know. There's a little bit bigger piece of the pie that we know we don't know. And then the biggest piece of the pie is we don't know what we don't know. And that's the infinite possibilities, right? So when you have actually got to the point where you've banged your head so many times against the wall, then there's some part of you that's rising up to say, okay, I need help.
Yeah.
Whatever that help is, it doesn't have to be. It can be anything. But there's a point where it's gotten too much pain. Too much. And pain is inevitable. We lose, we love, we lose, we have people die, we have lose jobs. There's many things that life offers that there's a beginning and a middle and end to. I'm offering the soul journey, which is there's a piece of you, not even a piece, your essence that is tasteable and experiential. It's not a concept. I'm not going to get you to read another book and then do all the tools to get over there again. No, you want to get in here. I don't know if I answered your question, Franny.
No, it does. Yeah. No, I get it.
I also think about that as like, I might be interpreting it wrong, but just that saying as kind of just practicing to be mindful too, because again, I struggle with that a lot of the time. I'm just like in my head, I'll be sitting there just like and trying to enjoy a moment with someone. And it doesn't look like I'm thinking, but it's just like running through my brain. And that's like when you say there's nothing to do, nowhere to go, I think it was. It's just there really isn't except that like moment now. You know what I mean? If you always focus on the now, I feel like you'll eventually like get to where you want to go sort of
But
thing.
it's even closer than that because if you actually recognize that your thoughts that are going through your head, there's a seer that's seeing them. There is an actually observer that is there witnessing them. Just slow it inward for a second and just hear me on that one. Because if you were your thoughts, you would be your thoughts. You wouldn't see them.
Yeah.
It's like your eyes, they see. You don't effort them to see, God forbid. You can see, but you don't effort them. They are themselves.
Yeah.
So it's the same as the essence of who you are. You're actually witnessing your life or your thoughts, your struggle in front of you. It's almost like the proverbial, the movie. You're watching. And when you can actually taste that, and that takes time because there's a forward momentum of mind all the time and conditioning that we have been imprinted and branded, all of us, in our families, religions, society, collective, culture, religion, all of it. If you can actually just invite and to slow inward, you can actually taste a place. And I know you've tasted it. Even if it's for a moment, you can build on that. It's like pebble in a thing. It ripples out. It takes time. And then you realize, my goodness, there's a limited me that keeps coming in and taking over.
Yeah.
Taking over. It's taking over. It is a habit. So when I say there's nothing to do to get to it, you can't get to this by doing.
You just are.
Well, it's almost landing in, or the invitation is to slow it inward to stillness a little bit. I mean, I don't sit and be still all the time. There's still action in life. I'm still animated. It's just that there's an opportunity to have a moment where you actually go in. Like even I always say to my clients, put your hand on your heart. What's going on in here? and you slow down, because in the hour and a half that we are together, you leave different.
Yeah.
There's more space created.
Right.
I will say though, I was telling Sam too, to even do that feels weird. Like sometimes I'm like hesitant.
It doesn't feel weird.
I
It
feel
just feels foreign.
when you say like put your hand on the heart, I'm like, do I have to do that? Like I don't really want to, but then I do it, and you like feel yourself, you feel your like presence, and it does make you like calm down a bit, because I don't want to say the only person you have is you, but it's kind of true in the sense, you know?
is,
So
it
just to be with yourself and like be also kind to yourself. That's a huge thing too. Being kind to yourself and speaking your truth, like you always say. So I think it's all kind of interconnected in that.
Yeah,
I
for sure.
I talked about this so many times on the podcast, but when she says that, it makes me think about yoga, which I've been doing. That's like one of the things between we last spoke and now that I've been like I started.
Amazing.
Yeah, and again, people have already heard this, but it's helped a lot. And we do those sorts of things in the yoga class. Obviously, you lie down, you like put your hand on your heart and then your stomach, and like I don't know, sometimes it makes me feel emotional because I'm just like I've just been through so much in this day that I didn't like take time for myself, and now I am, and like going inwards. And even after like a stressful day, after this yoga class where I'm just like calm and just focusing on my body and myself, I feel so much like better. And I tell her all the time she would love yoga too, but yeah.
I've done it once in a while, but
Franny's going to join you soon.
yeah.
She will be doing yoga soon, I think.
Yeah. I've been doing like little classes. I'm not like a frequent goer, but it has helped, I think.
And it's good.
I know it's good for your body too.
And it's actually stopping, right? Allowing yourself to stop, because I think my invitation sometimes is stop for one moment, just one moment, not forever.
Yeah.
Because your mind's apt to come back.
Yeah.
Put it outside. It's going to be there right when you leave the room.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's so true.
Stop for a moment.
Mhm.
Stop everything. Put it on the shelf for one moment, just one moment.
Mm-hmm.
Not forever. Put the shoulds, the have tos, the get there, all the strategies, all the tools for one moment. What remains after you've let go of all your thoughts? Do you still exist? You don't disappear. What are your thoughts really? I'm just asking for investigation, because the minute you have power in investigation, then like everything's in you. There's nothing that you need to get out there and pull it in, because as we know, this is what happens. You know this.
Yeah.
Once you get there, then you got to get somewhere else, and then
Yeah.
you got to get somewhere else. And if you're not, and that's still not good enough, then you keep doing the same.
Mhm.
It's human.
Cycle.
I almost say this sounds kind of weird. Be yourself. Don't do yourself. But that sounds weird. But I know for you guys, Jerry, sorry, but
No,
don't
it's fine.
be the human doing. Be the human being. Like, be you.
Yeah.
Don't be
I like
everybody else is taken.
Mm.
Be you.
So
You're
true.
special.
We were talking about authenticity too last podcast too, and how to like tap into being your authentic self. For me, I was saying how I have a hard time when I'm in a group of people and they will say their opinions or they'll say their thoughts. I like will conform with that thought because I don't want to be the odd one out, or I want to be neutral. Do you know what I mean? Like I don't want to say my opinion because it might be differing, or people might be like, that's a weird opinion. I'll just sit there and go along with it. And then when I get home, I'm like, why the hell did I go along with that thought or opinion, or saying if that's not actually how I felt? And I'll feel even more shitty about myself because it's like that wasn't being me or speaking my truth or being authentic. So when you say,
and we know a little bit about that for sure. I mean, still at my age and stage, I do too, right? And I mean, I have a mother-in-law moving in with me this week, so feel for me. I love her. Don't get me wrong, but it's going to be a new dynamic, and I have a lot of compassion. At the same time, we can get very self-focused, and our life, we don't want it to change. What was the direct question? I kind of went off there.
oh, no question. It was a thought.
So what was the thought again? Just remind me.
Just about how
I
sometimes,
just had one of those blip moments.
Yeah, that's okay.
Is that okay? Because I have them sometimes.
no, just how I was saying, because you're like, everybody else is occupied, just be
Right.
you. And I was saying how sometimes I find it hard to speak my opinion when everyone else has theirs. So I don't want to.
So I would ask you then, what is your fear?
Yeah.
Because if you're in that and you're judging yourself, there's some part of you that doesn't feel good enough or not worthy enough, or it's not going to say the right thing that's perfect in the moment. And really, quite frankly, that's the narrative of the mind. What if you do risk? And what if you are different? And what if you're actually meant to be different here?
Mhm.
You are not meant. Do you think we need the same now in this world we live in right now?
No.
Do you think we need people that keep following the same insanity that the world is going through? We need people like yourself to carve new paths because the world is not working.
Mm.
Yeah.
And the inner world, because we wouldn't be feeling this outer world of war and all of this separation and what's been happening for years, unless it was happening in here.
Mm-hmm.
So we're misaligned.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
I feel like it's like for you, it would be taking risks. For you, it would be taking risks and being uncomfortable because the stretch zone is not comfortable.
Mm.
You're not the safety. Let's say this is safety here. Well, what's safety? You're going to die there. Your soul will die there. You have to free yourself
Mm-hmm.
into the infinite possibilities.
Yeah.
And you know that. There's a rising up. I can't do this anymore.
Mm-hmm. I also like just to that thought, I don't know if this is relatable or not, but I was thinking about something the other day too. And something I talked about on that episode was that all my life, like growing up, I was always shy and kind of more timid, and everyone always told me not to be. They're like, or they would say I'm shy to me. They'd be like, "You're so shy," or like, speak up and things like that. And I like carry that with me for so long. And I think that why I was scared to be shy or like kind of hated that I was shy is because I had so many goals, and I felt like the people who were more outgoing and more like loud and like voice what they wanted would get there before me. And I've realized recently that like that's kind of like a lack mindset, because like there should be room for everyone. There's room for everyone. So it's okay for me to still be me and still want those things that the louder people, more outgoing and bubbly people will get. But that's also an internal struggle in terms of like being authentic.
So nothing is ever as it appears, though, Sam. Nothing.
Mm.
Everybody you see is. I just watched a podcast the other day, and I loved what he said. He said, if you're aligned in love, and you're giving love to each, then you are giving self-love. And if you're in hate and fear, then you're giving self-hate.
Yeah.
So it's like everybody's one. Like it sounds. I know it's a concept you maybe can't understand. Not because you can't understand. It's like humanity. No, we're separate. We're all walking around in these meat suits, and we're all different. You're here for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
You can't compare yourself to anyone. Franny, you can't compare. I can't compare myself. I won't fit into the same mold or the same presence of anybody.
Yeah.
Other than myself. That doesn't mean selfishly. I will learn from other people.
Mm-hmm.
If you actually let yourself expand out of that, because it's fear or I feel less than, comparing yourself to somebody else.
Yeah.
The truth is you're not less than. Mm-hmm. That's a narrative that's played itself because it's been handed down somehow in conditioning. Somebody told you, stop that and do that and over and over. Don't do. Sorry, I'm pointing my finger. Don't do this. Don't do that. You do this. You do that. Molding you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And then the rest of our life, we break the mold.
Mm-hmm.
Takes work.
And it's like you said again from the beginning, it's like a journey to break that mold, or like break. It's almost like you're breaking off a piece each day, each year. You're like,
and it's now though. It's now. It's not linear. This is my experience. Don't investigate anything I'm speaking. It's not straight. It's now. It's now. It's now. Past, present, and future is now. Future doesn't exist. When it comes, it's now. It's a mind concept that once again is orchestrating a narrative was from the past. Because in truth, you usually will repeat the past. Do you agree?
Yeah.
In a sense, we grow, yes, but there's a tendency that we deal with that reoccurs. Would you say?
Yep.
Yeah.
On some level?
Yeah.
So there would be something that keeps coming to you in different faces and places. It's the same. What's going on here? I'm in that same thing. It's a different person this time, a different experience, a different job, a different whatever. I'm still now feeling less than. So what is happening in here? It's gentler. You see, it's not that you're doing anything wrong. And I think if anything I offer is a safe and sacred place, so you can actually see. Because I don't see anybody broken.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody's broken.
Mm-hmm.
I believe we are all soul beings, and I believe we're all light beings, and that is that we just have to remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And that is not orchestrated into the things and stuff life. And we got to get there, and we got to do this, and I got to succeed, and I got to be looking like this and that and this and that. It doesn't fit in there. If you could actually taste that, that whole physical life will change in a profound way, actually.
And sorry, I know.
It's okay.
I'm holding on this much, but like just I'm like going off track, but I feel like that all makes sense, but at the same time, it could be hard for people to
understand that.
How do you get there? So I guess, are there tangible practices or ways that people can actually get to that space or like get on
Well,
that
like
journey?
I guess over the last 15 years, I've done a practice called satsang, and it's the inquiry into truth. And listen, I've done many modalities, healings. I haven't done ayahuasca, but there's many. I've done sweat lodges. I've done lots of accessible. This, I like meditation. Meditation, except people get caught in meditation and they think they're not doing it right, and their head's still in there and blah 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 blah. And I say, observe that blah 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 blah. Just don't become it.
Mm-hmm.
So we stop. You have to bring stillness somehow, even if it's for a moment. And it's scary. It's not like we're used to this. What is she talking about? Be still? Like, get over it. I got stuff to do. I got a list, right? I got another list.
So
and I got another
true.
list. And I got another list. And I don't have time for that. I'm so busy, right?
Yeah.
We know this.
Mm-hmm.
We hear it every day. The only thing that's helped me and then also help others is become still for a moment so you can see differently. So that's why I say the penthouse with no windows, because if you're an eagle and you're flying from a vantage point that's higher, you're going to see more than we see down here, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're going to widen the aperture like a photographer, and you're going to open the aperture. Sometimes initially you might need to be directed into this invitation, but then you can tangibly work this, practice this. I don't even like those words because it distances you. It's like a practice. It's like a habit. It's like if I'm going to be a non-smoker, I need to quit smoking. It's like really becoming aware of what your tendency is in the moment. Seeing how you beat the crap out of yourself on a daily basis.
I was going to say, so it really is just being still. Like it's just like for real, just being still.
I think it's practicing observing your tendencies and watching that there's a commentator yapping its head off all day long.
Yeah.
And it's telling you and it's talking to you and it's to go, whoa, what is that?
That makes sense.
And then what is that? Okay. And then who's seeing that? And do I have power in shifting this? Because it's there. We all have it. I have it too. I had COVID and I was sick. And I just moved and that little bugger came and oh God, I couldn't paint the house again. It still looks like the upstairs has not moved in yet because I couldn't do it. So there was this yap, right? And I've come through it and learned something. So it's learning about yourself every day. You're not going to just arrive there and you're going to go, ta-da, I have to learn nothing else here. It's not the way. You're gonna go deeper and deeper and deeper into yourself. But I will say this: don't make it so serious because you need joy. You need fun. You can't just be all you need balance in all aspects: physical, spiritual, mental, emotional. We need aspects that are balancing. So if you're out of balance and you're all work, no play, and it's all responsibility, then you're sure to hit the wall at some point.
Right.
Yeah.
And you're going to need to come back in. It's like me getting sick. I got really sick. It's like the proverbial wall hit. I had too many balls going and spirit said, no, you're out.
Yeah.
And I had to.
Yeah.
Not
Makes
easy.
sense.
So I don't know if I'm answering your question
No,
in
totally.
a tangible way. I would just say, be kinder to yourself as you learn new ways.
Yeah.
Be gentler. We're not gentle.
Yeah.
It's true.
I want to pivot a little bit into, I guess, something that you said, and I'm going to read it so I don't butcher it now. So you said, love is the easy part and the hard part is when we allow anything but love in. And I was like really sitting with that. And I was like, love is the easy part. And the hard part is when we let anything but that in. So I wanted to ask you, because it kind of goes against what society says, where society, when you're in a relationship or a friendship or even with yourself, yeah, love is hard or love is supposed to be hard or it's supposed to, obviously you have ups and downs, but it's supposed to be this hard thing that you get through. But you're saying that it's the easy part and what's hard is letting, I guess, anything else but that hate or letting those ugly emotions in. So I wanted to ask you how, like, if you can touch upon that more.
When you feel love, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
When you feel love and you're aligned in the moment and you're not narrating your life in that moment, how do you feel?
Like free.
You've answered the question because the truth is you are love. The truth is, I am love. The first word, the word of whatever you believe in, source, God, whatever, is I am. So I am the source. I am love. I am love. I am peace. I am joy. And this is why I think I say it, everything you're looking for is always in the place you're looking from. So it's when you start to see what you're doing in your life, and this narration's coming in and causing a lot of pain and suffering there. It's not necessary. So when I'm saying love is the easy part, love is the truth. It's not like it's, yes, society brings yes, and we get the movies that say, oh, you've got, he's going to film me or she's going to film me and it's all going to be happily ever after. And in a sense, it's beautiful. It can be blissful, and that's truth. And yet physical world will still have beginnings, middle, and an end. The physical world is an experience here that is a school. It's a learning. We go back home, we're light. I want to be able to help people realize they're light. Let's experience that light while we are here so we know who we are, and then we can maneuver creations in a better way, like for ourselves, and not bang our heads against the wall all the time. Words are limited, right?
Yeah.
So without me, I could take you into a little healing, and I could get you to experience a place in you, and maybe you'll cry. A lot of my clients cry. And that's, to me, is a beautiful. It's actually because the waters of our own nature opens our heart again, and we open again because we're so gripped. We are constantly, like, you tell me, girls, are you loose? No.
Tense. I was literally gripping. As you were saying that, I was like gripping this. I was like, I'm like,
here's my new earrings.
Yeah.
So I don't know if I answer you. So I don't know if there's a right answer to love. Like, we have been conditioned that we're not love. I was brought up Catholic, and listen, I'm not offending it. Like, religion's beautiful, and I'm not saying anything. I was brought up, I'm a sinner, and I'm not worthy. Okay. And actually, when my father died, I had a vision of, I call him Yeshua, Jesus. And he came to me, and I said, I'm not worthy. And then he came a second time. And he says, you are worthy. You will come home one day with me, but you are worthy, and your father's here. And this was like an apparition. And I realized that, who I think I am is not who I am. So if you have to effort and effort and effort and effort to get to you, you're here. Remember Dr. Seuss and the little, we're here in the flower, we're here, we're here, we're here. Do you remember that?
I don't know that one.
Okay, there was in Dr. Seuss, there was a flower, and there was actually life force in the flower, and there was little beings that were living in that. It's kind of like your soul going, I'm here, I'm here. This is taking over, right? Constantly. So you don't really hear it.
And when I talk about that and like relationships and stuff, how would you, because I think a big thing too, and I went through it, like I'm not judging or anything, but I think a big thing too is you tend to look for, how do I explain this? If you have this void, you tend to look for it elsewhere. So you try to get it from relationships, from guys, from girls, from outside sources, because you're not, I guess, happy or love yourself. Does that kind of tie into the love is the easy part thing?
Well, if you're leaving yourself at the bus station and you're going out to get it everywhere else, well, you're still at the bus station waiting, or the train station waiting your arrival.
Yeah.
It's like your spirit's waiting for you, and you're like going out there trying to get it, trying to get it outside of here. That's once again the definition of insanity.
Yeah.
This is conditioning, though. This is how we have been programmed.
Yeah.
This is not just this lifetime. It's probably, if you believe in past lives, it's probably been thousands and thousands. Who knows? We don't know. We're consciousness. We are actual consciousness. So consciousness is omnipotent. Means forever. It exists. One of my teachers used to say to me, we talked about death, and he said, well, every night you go to sleep, you are dying. You don't know if you're waking up. That's a glimpse.
Scary.
But just hold on. That's a glimpse into death. But do you die? You don't die. You dream, you fly, you do whatever. You exist. You will never not exist. He was trying to enter me into a place, like, because we were talking about death and how people are afraid, and they're afraid for change and all that kind of stuff. And he said, sleep every night. Don't start worrying about you're not waking up.
No,
okay?
yeah, knowing me, I'm maybe like,
don't.
If you think about it, it's almost like when you go to sleep, it's like
You're
so
surrendering.
peaceful.
You're surrendering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Completely.
Yeah, that's actually very
Now,
like,
wouldn't that be cool if we could do that in our waking life? Surrender.
yeah. I never thought about it that way, but yeah.
So marinate in that for a bit. Don't overthink it, but just let it fall. Let it land here. So it's a different journey. It's a
Mhm.
different embarking on a different journey. Love is infinite, though. Love is infinite. Love is our only power. It sounds so corny, but all we need is love. Ba, ba, da, da. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and we think, oh God, it can't be that easy. It is that easy.
Mm-hmm.
It's just when we get pretzeled up in our own insanity, it doesn't seem that easy.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of us are right now suffering. A lot of us are disconnected. A lot of us are, like, through this whole 4 years of COVID and just even prior to that, just the discombobulation of each individual and the collective and relationships. I've seen a lot of relationships end in the last 4 years, and marriages split, and jobs. And I've seen people take their lives, like some of my clients that actually didn't make it, and some, like, not that I had seen for a long time, but that fell off. And it's a hard truth. And at the same time, I believe in eternal. So it's not like they've died; they've just changed. They're out of body now. That's all.
That's interesting.
So I kind of took us off there.
No, it's all good.
And
I like where you went.
But hold on, we went like this. Now maybe we could raise up again.
It's a vibration.
Sorry about that.
It's okay. I want to talk again about the penthouse with no windows, because that was something that when you said it, I'm like, holy shit! Like, I literally am in here all the time, and I know Sam's in there all the time too. But I think we do that in different ways. Like, for me, I'll make a decision, and then after that decision, I'll go here and be like, oh my God, was that the right decision? Was that aligned with who I am? And I'll text Sam like a million times asking her for her. The thing with me is I have to get like 30 people's opinions or approval of a decision before I make it, or after I make it, to know that it was the right one.
Still? Or less than?
Less than before, but I still do it, sometimes.
Okay, so how do you not trust yourself then? There's got to be somewhere in there that you're not trusting yourself, your own innate knowing, or you're questioning your own innate
judgment.
Well, in a way, your gut feel.
Mm-hmm.
So is there something disconnected from your gut feel? You're up here again.
Yeah.
This is actually going to disconnect you from your gut feel. Because you actually do know the answer.
Yeah.
Maybe you're wanting confirmation on the outside. You're wanting to make sure you're making the right decision. But you know what? There's no wrong decision. A decision will always take you to somewhere. It might be a little different, but it'll take you to the same outcome.
Yeah.
What were you going to say?
I was just thinking about this morning, actually. Like, as I was overthinking, I started thinking about how I was overthinking. And I was like, I don't know how to put this. But, like, I always feel like I'm always on the cusp of something. Like, I don't know, I actually don't know how to explain it. But it's almost like a fire in me that it's like an idea that I have, whether it's about the podcast or like we were, or I don't know, like where I'm going with my relationship with Roman, just like things that I want to do, and like creativity flowing in me. And there's like, I'm on a cusp of something, but I don't know how to translate that into real life. And it's stuck in my head all the time. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does. So you're not knowing how to sort of plant a seed in a garden or something, or you're actually, it's almost like you're into the future. Where are you when that's happening?
Like eventually, like I feel like the things that I'm thinking about happen, but sometimes I get overwhelmed with like all of it in my head because I have so many ideas. For example, the podcast was an idea, and now we're here. We were like on our bedroom floor, like when it started.
I love it.
But
so good.
I don't know if I'm saying
okay. So hold on. So you get yourself up here, strung out. So you're talking about the penthouse, and it's funny. It just came to me, and I thought I love penthouses. I love the view, and I thought insanity is the penthouse with no windows, really. And here's the thing: your mind is never going to be able to grab this. Let's say you go on you have a beautiful yoga session, or let's say you go and have a beautiful dinner with your beloved, and you want to have that repeat itself forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
Right? You want that same moment that you've always had, never to change.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's a sure recipe for suffering. Okay?
Right.
Because you're now taking it up to your limited mind again. What if actually that it could be a new day every day, and all those beautiful creations that you have, Sam, could become, which one's going to come out today? Instead of boxing it into this thing and craziness. What if like, it's almost like, those, what are those wish things? I guess they're dandelions, but they become the wish
they
things.
glow.
What about go and letting it all, letting it all kind of, okay, the universe is going to give it to me. It did give it to you. You lined up. It's here.
Mm.
What else is coming?
Yeah.
And look at it as more exciting rather than
gift.
rather than like stressful.
Yeah, it's stressful because I'm like, I need to make a list of how I'm going to do all these things. And yeah, so that makes a lot of sense, actually.
So you actually are doing this to yourself.
Yeah.
And we all do.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
Yeah.
We're not like special in that.
I
way.
like
I
the
like that
dandelion
thinking
thing.
it I think of it like when you say dandelion, as like a gift, like you're opening one on Christmas Day. Okay, what's going to be this time? And you open it. It's like, oh, it's something that I wished for and it came to me on this day, but like I'm not forcing myself to have it or want it right now in this moment or like doing anything to get there. I just know it's going to like come.
Have you ever had a moment, a split second that you have a vision? You don't think about it again and it happens.
Yeah, all the time.
Okay, so hello.
Yeah.
So why don't you trust that?
Yeah.
It's true. It's
It's
I
a
don't know.
split second.
Yeah.
It's almost you see a vision of something and you're like, whoa, what was that? And then you're living it and you're like, how?
That is
And that's
so true.
And that's deja vu. That's synchronicity. That's when life lines up.
I've literally had deja vu of like a podcast studio like this. Like when we first started it. I know I keep bringing it up, but it's just like one of those things that like I remember one time I was by the pool like when I lived at home and I was just like suntanning. I literally had like a vision of a podcast studio and this was when we were podcasting like we thought it was like weird and like a hobby. And I literally had a vision of a podcast studio. And then I kind of just left it. I was like, and now
And here we
Yeah.
are.
so I don't know.
So what else
This
is here?
example.
What else? Why confine yourself?
Yeah.
Why stay limited in your mind? If you can recognize that your mind is limited, can we accept that?
Mm.
So let's not give a job to a limited version.
Right.
Let's blow the thing and
The
make
dandelion,
wishes and let
Yeah.
that then fall. Let that align. Like, why are we taking the joy away from it?
So true. And I feel like the more that you stress on it, the less it feels natural.
It goes further
Yeah,
and
like
further
the-
and further
and that's
away.
with anything. The more you're like, I want it. It's like, it's almost like, hey, like back off, kind of like a weird X or something. Like you're crazy, like
It's
go
a
away.
repel. It'll
Yeah, it's
repel.
repelled. Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you just kind of let go and trust that's coming, then it's kind of like, okay, see you later. And they'll come back to you.
And it does.
Yeah.
Always.
I also think that some of these things that we want or think about for a second obviously require
Action.
action. Like you
Of
need
course.
to if we want to
Of course.
sponsorship, we're gonna have to like send out a few
Of
emails. So I
course.
think that's when I get in my head. But at the same time, like you said, like if you're blowing the dandelion, like there'll be a moment of like almost aligned action sort of thing where you have like a spurt of motivation almost of wanting to do it. And like that's when you do it. And I personally sometimes resist that because I'm like, it's just like a random like, I don't know, like you know what I'm trying to say? Burst of energy where I'm
Yes.
like, I'm gonna do it right now, but it's like I'm busy doing something else. But like
Mhm.
why not
Mhm.
align on that action sort of thing? Does that make sense? Or-
Yeah, no. It totally makes sense. I actually think also, too, if we allow ourselves to be a little bit, then we might manage our energy a little bit better because oftentimes we'll do everything, but we'll be, by the end of it, we'll feel like, this sounds harsh, but we've raped our energy of everything.
Yeah.
We have nothing left.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't it be nicer to maybe not have these earrings and just start
Yeah.
learning a way of like kind of almost like having fun with it and going, hey, I'm learning a new way. It's not like something I know, but let's have some fun with it.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't feel like in a sense, a better way because we've got ourselves so confined into these boxes
Mm-hmm.
that society has told us to. Well, you know what I'm going to tell you? At this stage, I'm 40 with 20 years experience. At this stage, it's not that I don't care. I'm very caring.
Mm-hmm.
I'm more focused and I'm not going to lose my energy the same anymore. I don't have the time like that, nor do I have the energy like that
Mhm.
anymore. And you guys don't want to bring yourself to losing so much energy quick.
Yeah.
You want to store and manage your energy and recognizing your power is your energy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a whole other we could go on. I was thinking on the way down here that we could go on and on and on. There could be so many places you could go
Yeah.
and you still come back to the same point. Who am I?
Yeah.
Who am I? Where do I want to be? And if I am a spirit being having a human experience, do I not want to get to know my spirit a little bit while I'm here?
Mm.
Yes, action will have to happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to be sitting on the thing and going, and it's all going to come to me. And then the clouds open and it comes down. No, it's not going to happen. There's experiences, there's action, there's mistakes that aren't really mistakes. They're just learning.
Mm-hmm.
And then we come around and we go, wow, look at, because I can guarantee you, both of you, I've known you, is that you never would have thought we'd be sitting here.
Yeah. I honestly
You girls, I could see it. And I can see even more for you.
I guess to wrap up, because that went by really fast. Wow.
Yeah, I know.
But I want to ask you, when we had a little chat before.
Wait, she brought a drum as well, so I don't know if we can.
Oh, I want time
Right?
for that.
Well, I would like to maybe drum and take it just a little inward for maybe like not even 3 minutes. 5
Okay,
minutes.
so
let's
for
have-
5 minutes, let's wrap it up, and then we can do the drum.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Chris. I want to ask you, and it's in our outline. We spoke about it. What do you think? Because you were saying that you work with a lot of younger people, like Sam and I, or just young adults.
Yeah.
And our whole premise is like navigating adulthood, right? Or navigating life with these challenges. What do you think the main challenge that young people in their 20s or, kind of just entering adulthood or navigating adulthood have in this moment?
That's a broad question, but we did touch upon it a little bit before we came on the air. Social media, technology, devices, and I sound like my mother now, and I don't like that I sound like my mother. But there is something that happens, and I feel it's done a disservice. It's taking us out of ourselves and not into ourselves. So there's that. There's also social media in the sense of there's expectations of what you need to look like, how you need to be, and this is on you guys, like. And I see in some of my clients just devastating results from it and just such disconnect from themselves, who they really are. And they're trying to fit into something that's being fed to them on a daily basis. And I mean, I look at the world just before I came in and nobody was looking at the street. Everybody had these phones and walking like, and I'm thinking, man, it would take, even if I got a group of people, 100 people, stop them for 10 minutes. It would take that out of it. So I don't know, like, I mean, it's a bit broader than that because I think that there's eating, like there's so many, there's eating disorders, there's no judgment on any of it. All of these are symptoms of being disconnected from who you really are. And I think we're in a time right now, girls, seriously, because I do believe in reincarnation, is that we've never had this opportunity like we have in humanity. And that's why we're seeing such darkness coming up right now.
Yeah.
It is dark, 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 right? Is that the light's coming in and the light illuminates. So when you turn off the light here, it's dark. But when you turn on, then anything that was dark in here is now illuminated. So it's being given a chance to be able to heal itself or shift itself or shift like the metamorphosis, right? Become from the caterpillar to the butterfly. And a caterpillar actually goes into mush before it becomes a butterfly. In the metamorphosis stages, it goes into the chrysalis. It becomes mush before then. How is that? There's so much of a mystery here, right? And if we could actually let the mystery illuminate itself inside of ourselves, this is actually the biggest here. It's disconnect from here, looking for it out here, suffering. Now, I went through my 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, and now 60. Here's the thing, though, which I realized probably in the last couple of years, that there is an omnipresent you that remembers 5 years old, 10 years old, 13 years old. There's still the same presence that was there through it all. I want you to taste that. That's my invitation for today, because I actually can have you taste that. And there is that presence. And I remember when I looked at the sky and I thought, where does this begin and end? When I was 10 or 11, I had that same observing that still today that I did at that age. Still there.
Yeah.
So I would like to take you maybe on a short little journey, but I think and I wanted to say to you today, first of all, I'm so grateful. Oh my God, I feel so grateful. It's 11:11 today.
I know.
Okay, and 11:11 is a portal. 11:11 is a portal, and I would like to open that. When I play the drum and I might sing a little bit just for a few minutes, I don't want to guide you. All I want is have you connect to the portal of light that is you, like your higher self, your essence, because that is always here. Sorry, I keep hitting this.
Okay.
That is always here. You don't have to do anything to get to that. That's who you are. So it's being able to land. So I'm going to do a little drumming, and I'm going to ask you to just line up and picture this bathing, beautiful golden light that's coming down through your crown and going into the earth through your feet, and it's going to ground you. And then you're going to listen to the drum and the voice and see where that takes you.
Okay.
Is that cool?
Yeah, I'm excited. Can we close my
Yeah, I want you to close your eyes.
Okay.
And I want whoever's watching this to close their eyes for a few moments. And I want you to just be present inside your body. Don't change a darn thing. There's nothing to change. Just allow yourself. And as I play the drum, and as I use my voice, I want you to just become present. And before I start, I want this beautiful golden light portal of light coming down through your crown. And it's bathing all your chakras, all the way down to the bottom of your feet. And it's going into Mother Earth. So it's going to ground you. And allow yourself to feel. Become present. Receive. Coming home to your light of your soul. Hey, hey, hey. Oh, hey. Just keep your eyes closed for one moment more and feel gratefulness in your heart. Feel this moment, this precious gift, this present moment. And remember, if not one thing from this time together, that there's nothing to do to get to you. Be gentle. Learn kindness. And when you begin that ranting narrative or commentator that's inside of you that we all have, don't beat it up. Don't resist. Meet it with love. Meet it with a new way and say, hey, I'm learning a new way. It takes time. And to remember, everything you're looking for is always in the place you're looking from, and there's nothing to do to get to that. When you're ready, you can open your eyes.
That was great. First of all, you have a very nice voice.
I was just gonna
You
say,
have a
wow,
beautiful voice.
it sounded like you were singing through like something.
Microphone, but it's the drum.
That was really nice. Thank you.
I forgot where
for
I
that.
was for a second.
See?
Okay, when you open your eyes, you're like,
Felt,
oh, I'm
it
here.
felt like warmth, but not like hot. Oh, that sounds so weird.
Almost like a soothing.
Yeah, like a blanket.
And it was yellow.
Yeah.
A yellow.
You
Maybe
know,
it was
that's
that.
weird. You know what?
Oh, maybe it's
No, it was the golden light.
But it literally felt like a sun. Like it literally felt like.
I brought the golden sun into you. I'm getting tingly.
That was
yeah,
great.
that was really nice.
Thank you, Kathy. That
Oh
was
my God.
amazing.
Oh my God.
One more thing before we head off, I guess. How can people reach you? Where can people
Oh, yeah.
contact you if they want your guidance? If they want
Here's
to talk to you?
here's the thing. This is not a social media girl. My website's spirit, the letter N, soul.ca, but it is being revamped. I've got somebody in a sense rebranding me. I'm on a Soul Grace Light on Instagram. When I get so busy, I can't even maintain anything. So you could also find me on my email. You guys, if anybody ever wanted, my phone number, yes, but the letter N, light now at yahoo.ca.
Okay.
We'll put it
We
down
can plug
here,
it down here.
Yeah, and I would be happy to be of service always and just help people remember so they don't have to suffer. I'm
love
so
that.
grateful.
We are too.
We're
Thanks
grateful.
for coming. And also, did you strategically plan for 11/11 or
No.
it just?
No.
I was just thinking when you said that, I was like, wait.
And remember I was telling you I've been seeing 11/11 in our last session? I really told her, like, this is, like, weird. I see 11/11.
Actually, a lot's lining up right now for you guys too, and actually for me too. I think there's a lot of people. If you're getting out of your way, there's a lot of lining up right now with your soul purpose, your mission, your purpose. This is it's mission time. Okay,
Mhm.
so it's not. And I said this at the beginning. Do not follow. You want to lead. You
Mhm.
want to carve a new path that people you can help people, really help people, because the systems are broken.
Yeah.
You don't want that you be going down the same track. You
Mhm.
want to go on, you want to carve out new paths.
Yeah.
I love
So,
it.
Well,
If anyone watching wants to just reach out to us and then we can connect you with
yeah,
Cathy.
that'd
Yeah.
be
as
great.
well.
It would be
free.
my honor. It would be my honor. So
And we really just like scratched the surface here. I feel like we
maybe
obviously,
I'll come back one day.
yeah.
yeah. We
Maybe
could have
one
went for
day.
hours. Like,
I
truly.
could actually
I
open the
have so many
aperture
questions.
I could open the aperture to many doors. That's how I feel.
And
Yeah.
I also, and also just for people listening to know too that there's so many different ways that they can dig even deeper than what they saw here today, which was already great. So just know that. And reach out to Cathy or us if you want to talk more about it or get into yourself personally. But yeah, Cathy, thank you again for coming.
What an honor. You guys are awesome. That's all I'm going to say.
You're
These
awesome.
two are awesome.
Oh,
These two are
thanks.
awesome.
Thanks,
and
Cathy.
I'm in a sense, it's funny because I feel like a little bit of like a mother nurture in a sense. I'm proud of you.
Oh,
Oh,
thank
That's how I
you.
feel.
Thank
Aw.
you.
Thanks.
All right, guys. Well, we will see you next episode, and we hope you enjoyed.
Bye.